The more perfect you try and make it, the faker it begins to look, because these edges aren't perfect. It's also one of the reasons I normally steal from parts of the painting, the other parts of the image, wherever I can, because I can make this look right, but it's going to look more right if I steal it from pieces. So you see it's starting to shape up across the middle there. That's actually a lot of steps. You continue doing that across all of this. Pick and choose how you want your pattern to work. You're the artist, you choose. So I'm going to do just a little fast healing in this area. Once again, not my favorite method, but for expediting this particular lesson, I'm going to do it this way. Okay. This one would need to be chosen on which way you'd want to move, whether you want to squeeze this down into 3 or have it break into 2, or do something completely crazy and go from big rock to little rock. I'm going super fast right now. It's because, like I said, at this particular point I am more looking at finishing than I am at being perfect. Sometimes that is the life of the profession, but try and be perfect when you can. It just looks better in the long run. You'll notice every now and then when I put a dark mark on and I'm cutting an edge by painting it, I'll paint on a little highlight at the edge. It helps separate the top from the bottom and actually begins to make it look a little more part of the piece, especially when you pull back, because it's like a highlight getting hit there. You can do that in different ways. I'm just going to push it this way a little bit more. It's not looking particularly right to me, but not terribly wrong. This part right here is looking incorrect to me. If it's looking a little too smooth, just noise it up. Stipple. Okay, so let me see. This is wrong right there. This needs to move across a little bit better. Take a little bit of edge out on that. There we go. Let's bring a little shadow under there. A little highlight right where that hits. Take a bit of this shadow underneath it. There we go. Soften that. A little shadow. Yeah, I know you're supposed to paint out the shadow, but I'm trying to bring definition here, so I'm forcing it. Go down. This one's incorrect. A little darker. There's a lot of incorrectness right here, so I'm just going to take my stamp tool to make sure I don't see this pixel line going there. It will bug me otherwise. A lot of times if you're trying to get information, it's easier to grab some stuff from way at a different part on the scene. Kind of choose rocks you like. I think this one will match this pretty well. There we go. Yep, it matches it pretty well. I'm going to fix this part right here. This is very incorrect. But I'm just going to draw it up and around. And let's just break it right here. This will all come in handy because being able to paint somewhat realistically, even when not painting realistically, will come in very handy. Because there'll be many times like this where you'll have to fill in information that doesn't actually exist. I'm choosing my highlights, my shadows. I'm going to break this off right here to make this rock feel more like it's one piece. So these highlights go back across it, like the little striations. Too much. You want to be careful with pure whites. They're very dangerous. I'm painting with a super tiny brush right now. 1 pixel brush basically. I just shrank my brush down to its minimum size. And yeah, I'm kind of just scribbling. I'm just trying to get a little noise and definition in between these two rocks, so it looks like it's somewhat believable. Sometimes even the realistic areas, like right here, doesn't look realistic enough for me, so I will go in and sharpen up edges. So I ran out of scratch discs, so the video stopped mid-sentence, but here's where I'm going to continue. I finished painting in this area right here, and I just need to fix up this little bit right here. Much like any of the other times, I'm just going to quickly try and steal something. I would normally try and go there and steal something, but to expedite time, I'm just going to paint it. Just to kind of show you that you can. So I'm moving in here, just taking bits and pieces of information from around. A little bit of darks. Take some of that dark in there, move it in around here. As you see, I'm still not trying to be perfect, just trying to get the information. This is one super square rock, so I'm going to break it off right there, just to give it a little bit more realistic feel, even though a lot of them are pretty square on edges here, because they've been cut. Alright, let me just touch up over here real quick. The better solution would be to try and match by taking pieces from the other pieces around. I'm just not doing that right now because this is actually a little bit faster for me to do, and I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to get the point across. Alright, so there we go. That's kind of obvious to me right here. I'm not very happy with that. I'm going to just soften this edge a bit. Maybe make it look a little more rounded. so it kind of falls in line with some of the other stuff. Highlighting doesn't work so well on this because it's already highlighted and it's so white to begin with. But darkening does work on just certain edges. The more smooth and perfect you try and make everything, the faker it looks. I'm going to call that good enough for now. Okay, well, as you can see, the tile there mostly works. I've grouped everything into a group called tile art here, at which this point I'm going to duplicate, merge the group, and then offset it, just so I can kind of see where my world is. Seems to work pretty well. This is exceedingly straight, so with a little more time I might actually go in and break up some of these lines here so it's not perfectly straight, so it feels a little bit like the rest of them where they're not this artificially straight line here. Just to give it a little bit of life, like is up here and here and down here. So that pretty much works. At this point, if you want to test it, we're going to go ahead and save it. Select the whole layer, go to Edit, Define Pattern. Okay, we'll call it Odd Brick. Say OK. So we've just defined a pattern. Now I'm going to create a new image, and as long as the pixel width is much greater than your actual texture is that you just made, it'll work fine. And then I'm going to go and fill with pattern, and there we go. You'll notice that these bricks, this brick right there, this particular one stands out a lot, so you might want to do something to break it up so it doesn't stand out so much. You'll notice that this one right here doesn't stand out as much because it's not a big flat surface, so adding some texture to this so it sits back will help, or just getting rid of it or moving it in a little bit might also help. Moving it here and allowing some smaller bricks to be on the right side of it. Alright, that's it for this particular portion of the video.